Boa noite, todo mundo aqui do Cambly Brasil. Que bom ver vocês online, aguardando essa super live que vem junto com um super desconto de 50% off nos nossos planos de inglês anuais aqui do Cambly ou do Cambly Kids também, tá? Essa live aqui é focada para a sua carreira, para o seu futuro profissional e as crianças também já podem começar nessa com 50% off. Então, papai e mamãe que querem garantir aí o futuro bilíngue do seu filho, vem e fica aqui para garantir os 50% off no Cambly Kids também. E se você está aqui porque você quer falar com o Tutor Bruce sobre a sua carreira, esse professor tão experiente, dentre muitos outros que a gente tem aqui no Cambly, para você alavancar de vez nesse ano com um inglês profissional, sabendo tudo que você precisa saber na carreira e todos os benefícios que você pode ter durante uma aula no Cambly com esses tutores especialistas, essa live é para você. Então, fica aqui comigo, manda suas perguntas e eu vou estar aqui mediando essa live para te ajudar a entender tintim por tintim e todos os benefícios que você vai encontrar aqui. E anota aí as dicas, gente. Pega um caderninho, porque vai ter muita coisa boa surgindo para você. Então, sem mais delongas, usem aqui o nosso código que vai estar escrito, já está aí na descrição para você. Vai estar aqui ó, na minha tela, bonitinho, para você garantir 50% off no seu plano anual de inglês aqui no Cambly, seja das aulas particulares, seja da aula em grupo, para você garantir o melhor do inglês com tutores nativos e decolar na sua carreira esse ano. Bora começar então, vamos chamar o Tutor Bruce aqui. Hi, Tutor Bruce, how are you?
I'm good. Good evening to you. It's still afternoon for me, so yes.
Nice. Thank you for being here with us.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Tutor Bruce, you have a long experience, right, in the business, corporate, internationally. You've worked in Dubai. You now have your own company. Can you talk a little bit about this experience for us?
Well, sure. I I have more than 30 years of business experience in the private sector, in the public sector, working for the government, working for a foreign government, and also as a business professor as well. And, you know, I've had worked in with many different industries and working internationally with people from all over the world has been an amazing opportunity. A lot of challenges, a lot of successes, but it's been an amazing career. Yes.
Nice. Então, vocês estão vendo aqui que estão com um tutor de peso, gente, com muita especialização, com muita experiência profissional. And Bruce, we already have a question here. I'm looking forward to listening to Bruce. He's one of my favorite tutors on Cambly. It's Nicole, your student. Hi, Nicole. Welcome. So nice to have your students here in this live, right, Bruce?
Yes, it is. I'm happy they've come out.
They are here. They want you to know. And Bruce, you probably have, like Nicole, lots of students here in Cambly. How long have you been teaching on the platform?
I have been teaching on Cambly for about 4 years.
Wow.
I guess maybe one of the, not the old timers, but I've been around for quite a while. So I've been through a lot of changes that Cambly has made, improving and everything, and in the course offerings as well. So I enjoy it. And I think the students here on Cambly are amazing.
Nice. And due to your background in this international business setting, do you have a lot of students that reach out to you to looking forward to improve in their careers or maybe get a new job abroad or something like that?
I do actually, not just those who are already working, but I have a lot of university students who are getting ready to graduate, who are preparing to enter the work world for the first time. and they're looking to work for international companies. They're looking to improve and enhance their English skills so that they can be better candidates and recruited.
Yes. And do you have tools on Cambly that you like to use with them?
I do. I like to use, there's some amazing lessons that are in the Cambly library. And for instance, one that I like using is a course on public speaking.
Perfect.
We think, well, how is this related to preparing for an interview or preparing for working in a job? Well, public speaking is speaking in front of an audience, whether it's one person or 100 people. And just like in an interview, you need to be prepared to be able to communicate well, answer the questions, or provide necessary information. And I think the lessons here are very good for that. Um, as you can see, this is kind of an overview of one of the lessons where we have a warm up, we have business related vocabulary, we have presentation skills talking about articulation, speaking clearly, clear pronunciation. It's not about how fast you speak, but that you speak clearly so others will be able to understand you properly.
Nice.
These lessons also have a little bit about grammar, using proper tense when you're talking about past tense, things that have already happened, present tense, things that are happening now or going to happen in the near future.
This is a
Uh,
great for you to edit because lots of people who are looking forward to study on Cambly are very concerned with the grammar part, and they're like, "Oh, there aren't any exercises or grammar or things that I can like actually see, or it's just conversational." And as you're
yeah.
showing here, we have like all these courses that our private students in the one-on-one classes can get access to, and they can ask their tutors also to provide those kind of pinpoints idea, right?
Yes, and pretty much all of the lessons have a little bit of vocabulary and grammar added into them. So you're not just having a general conversation, you're actually practicing vocabulary, you're actually practicing grammar as you're practicing your speaking skills. So it's all included together.
That's perfect. Can we see a little bit
Yeah,
of the lessons? Maybe I'll be here your student.
sure, sure.
E
So,
pessoal, just to let people know, se vocês quiserem mandar suas perguntas enquanto a gente está fazendo essas apresentações, podem mandar, que a gente vai selecionar e botar aqui, tá bom? So let's start. Let's get
all
started,
right.
Bruce.
So, to get started, the first question in this lesson is, do you ever have to introduce yourself in a professional situation? It could be for a job interview, it could be at your once you're hired, introducing yourself to a manager or your coworkers. So, have you ever had to introduce yourself?
Yes, and nowadays it's very common to do that online also. So I think it
Right.
gets a little bit more challenging because you have to portray everything, your energy, how you see yourself in a screen. So I think it's even more of a challenge.
Yes. And there's also, like the second question we'll ask is, what content do you think you should include in a self introduction? There are things that we should include, and there's things that we shouldn't include when we're introducing ourselves, especially in a professional situation. So,
Can you give us some examples?
yes. Well, of course, you're always going to introduce yourself. You're going to give your name. You're going to provide information if you're a student or your job title or your position. Just a little bit of background, what department you work in, these type of things. And you might add how long that you have worked for the company, things like this, things that we should avoid doing is talking about our hobbies or talking about our more personal information that we're married, our age, these type of things. They're just not included in a more of a professional setting. If you're in kind of a networking event where it's less formal, then yes, you can
Okay.
include that. Yes.
That's perfect, Bruce. Pessoal, vocês estão anotando aí essas super dicas do Tutor Bruce, né? And we have a question here. Maria
Sure.
Julia is asking, what's the difference between CV and resume?
Well, that is an interesting topic, and
Okay.
working internationally, a lot of times I hear the term CV or resume. Uh, Both of them provide information about your work history, about your education, about your skills, but in a work setting, we use a resume. A resume typically is 1 to 2 pages, which gives your work history, a little bit about your skills, your background, your education, whereas a CV or curriculum vitae is used more for academics. It's in academia, it's for individuals who have maybe written papers or presented, been published, or they have presented at conferences, things like this. You document all of that. And a CV is much longer. A CV can
Okay.
be up to six pages
Wow.
or more sometimes,
Okay.
depending on how much writing or publication or things that you have been involved with. So there is a difference between a CV and a resume for interviewing. Most times, majority of the time, what you're preparing is a resume and not a
Okay.
CV.
And we prepared in this class, I prepared myself like a fake resume so we can go over like a fake candidate, and I sent you over. And that's a nice
Yeah.
thing for people to know as well, that you can send over things for your tutor when you schedule a class with them, with him or her. You can send like what I've sent you, the resume that we can. I
Hmm.
thought it was a good idea for people to look how they can take advantage of their classes on Cambly with a specialist just
Yeah.
like yourself. So, Maria Júlia,
Uh,
ficou claro qual é a diferença entre CV e resume? And now we're going to go over a resume. So, guys, take a look. But first, Bruce, we have a question here. Camila is
okay.
asking, how can I be authentic without getting into trouble by saying something in the weakness section? So I guess in the job interview, when it asks you about your weakness.
Right. Well, having conducted thousands of interviews, everyone has weaknesses. The key is that you have identified those weaknesses and that you're doing something to take an action to improve it. Like you might say, I'm a little weak in my time management skills, but knowing that, I have started using a daily planner, which allows me uh, to schedule, put down, and manage my time better, all of my meetings, all of my tasks, which helps keep me on track. And so I'm working to improve my time management skills. So showing saying you have a weakness is not a bad thing, but you follow that up by saying how you're correcting the weakness as well. I have difficulty communicating in English, but I am now working on a platform called Cambly, which is helping me to improve my English skills so that I can communicate more successfully in English with my colleagues and with my clients.
That's a perfect tip. And Ruth, as you know, we are giving out 50% discount. Então, pessoal, como o Bruce está falando aqui, essa dica maravilhosa para vocês estarem sempre. O problema não é não saber falar inglês, não é só não saber falar inglês, é não mostrar serviço na hora de aprender inglês. E o Cambly te ajudou aqui a solucionar esse problema com 50% off de desconto no seu plano anual. Então, pega esse código que está aí na tela e aproveita agora para você ter aulas como essa que eu estou simulando aqui com o Tutor Bruce, ou então mesmo aulas em grupo, em que você pode aprofundar bastante seu vocabulário de business. So, Bruce, let's start now to go over this CV that I created for Maria Oliveira.
Sure. So, in taking a look at Maria's CV, or actually resume, it's not a CV.
Yes, you're right.
I think it's formatted. It looks very, very good. She doesn't have a lot of work experience, so she's kept it to one page. But one of the things that you have to be aware of is how, number one, spelling. We always need to be aware and not have any spelling mistakes, and to always try to use proper grammar in our resumes that we are going to send out, because recruiters are going to look through it, and if they find mistakes, the first thing they'll say is, well, they don't pay attention to detail.
Yes.
They have errors here, so are they going to pay attention to details for the work that they're going to be doing? So
that makes sense.
Remember to pay attention to your using proper spelling and also grammar. These days, it's very easy using grammar check like Grammarly, which is very good. Also, if you're using Microsoft Word or Google Docs, they have a spell check incorporated in that, and also a grammar check as well. So utilize those.
Perfect.
So, all right. So in going through her resume, the first thing that I noticed was using this here off to the left-hand side. And also, I might say, depending on where you're applying for a job, someplace in some countries, we don't add photos to your resume, partly to avoid discrimination and things like that. So typically, photos are not added to the resume.
That's a perfect information, because I think that here in Brazil, that's kind of common. And so that's why it's also important. It's not only about grammar and spelling, as you said, for sure it's very important, but it's also like the native perceived and how it culturally it engaged your resume in some different countries. So if you're looking forward to apply to Australia for a job, might be different resume than you're applying to US or England or so on, right?
Exactly. There are certain things that are not added into the resume if you're applying to a company in the US that maybe in Brazil is just common, or in the Middle East or other countries, it's just common to add those type of things onto the resume. So make sure that you tailor your resume according to the company and the country where you're applying.
That's why you need a native tutor help, right?
Yeah,
that's another
exactly.
good reason.
Yes. So the first thing that jumped out at me was she said here at the top, we have a misspelled word. My should be contact. Oh, actually, I wouldn't use my contact. I would use maybe personal information.
Okay.
There as a heading.
Could you write me down this, how, if I afterwards to check my CV, how I would spell? Can you write on the chat for
Sure.
me how it would be? Então, tá vendo, pessoal? Vocês têm muitas ferramentas aqui junto com o seu tutor para você poder usar na sua aula privada. Thank you, Bruce. I will copy that into my resume later, into Maria's resume
Yes.
later.
All right. And then we have our LinkedIn profile. These days, everyone has pretty much a LinkedIn profile, and most companies ask if you have a LinkedIn profile. So putting that on the resume is important. Then we have our contact information, email, and phone number, which is very important. Continuing down the left-hand side, next we have skills. This is important. You want to highlight important skills that would apply to the position that you're looking for. So if you have skills of I'm a certified lifeguard, or I'm a certified chef, and you're applying for a position as a software engineer or software developer, doesn't really relate to the job. So you want to have your skills match the skills that they're looking for in the job advertisement. So
And
she
for
has
example,
one of her. Yes.
so in this
Go ahead.
case, it's their English. Should she
Right.
edit out some adjective like fluent English or English level AB? How would you describe it would be better?
Yeah. It's good that she put English as a skill there, knowing that she's probably not a native English speaker. So English. Then you should put your level, beginning, intermediate, any languages that you speak. I speak Spanish as well, intermediate level. I speak Arabic as well, beginning level. So I add those in as skills on my resume as well. So you need to not just put that you speak English, but the level that you speak. So,
Nice.
all right. And she has her skills as, of course, she's a software engineer, so she has the languages that she can design in, which is very important. She has problem-solving skills and team communication. Those are very good. Okay. Also, what's important, and a lot of people leave this out, is if they do any type of volunteer work. Companies like to see candidates who do more than just work. In their free time, they volunteer or they're involved in other activities. This is very good to highlight that she's a volunteer math teacher. Very good. So,
In the formation part, right there, what do you think about it? Very Brazilian.
Well, yes. Actually, it needs to be not formation, education. Yes.
Okay.
So this is where she would list her education, and the way that she has it listed here as graduated in computer science. Actually, she should say if she has a degree in computer science. If you graduated, you could graduate from a training course. You could graduate from some type of technical school, or you graduate from a university. So if she has a degree, which she went to a university, she should say bachelor's degree, computer science from the university, and then when she actually obtained her degree.
And that's a great tip, Bruce, because here in Brazil, it's common to say, I am graduated, like in Portuguese, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, and it's a very common mistake I think Brazilians make, because they kind of translate as we speak here. And
right.
So it's
yes. In English, if we say we graduated from a university, or we graduated from a program with a degree in a certain area. So
Nice.
you graduate from a school or a program with a degree or certification in a specific area. So
Gente, tá
that's how it
muito.
should be listed.
Isso é muito maravilhoso. E se vocês têm alguma perguntinha, manda aqui pra gente, viu, pessoal? Manda aqui que a gente quer saber o que vocês estão achando. And Bruce, another question, another that I have is that should we translate like São Paulo University? Should we translate the name of the university when it's in Portuguese?
I'm like 50-50 on that.
Okay.
You don't necessarily have to, because it is the name of the university. So sometimes the name may not translate easily. So listing the name of the university in Portuguese is fine. You're listing it as a university. So you can also put that in parentheses, university, but the important part is what did you study and the degree or certification that you received. So that's the important part.
Perfect.
So that should be in English. The name of the university or the program doesn't necessarily have to be translated.
Okay, that's good to know. And we have a question here from Leandro. Leandro, dúvida. What should I not do in a job interview?
Okay. Well, one of the key things is to always be positive. Even if you didn't have a good experience in your studies or working at a certain company, you should always be positive about your experience. Never negative about your experience. So if you didn't get along with your former boss, you can just say the position was very challenging between the work and management. There were a lot of challenges that I had to overcome. That's a better way of saying I didn't like my boss and we didn't get along and I hated my job. So you always want to be positive. So
okay, that's a good tip, Leandro. Nicole, your student's asking, Bruce, is business English too different from the ordinary one? Can a person who speaks just English get by in a business environment? That's a great question, Nicole. Thank you.
Yes, business English is just the language that it's English, but we're using terms and terminology that is specific for business. So a lot of the terms that are used in business are very common everyday terms. Assets, liability, collaboration, project management. These terms are very common English terms. We hear them every day. Business English is just speaking or using English in a way that is specific for the type of business that we're working in. Accounting, there are certain phrases or vocabulary words that are specific for accounting, for marketing, for finance, for human resources. So it's just learning those terms and how to use them properly. That's the difference.
That's perfect, Bruce and Nicole. Thank you. Because two things, guys. One, on Cambly, you can find many tutors like Bruce, who has this long, vast experience in the international business setting. And also, you can find tutors who are working or has experience on your work, your field of work, right? So you can get these little vocabularies and words that they are more common for example, for a dentist, for pilots, for all of this, and you can find those tutors on Cambly. And also, we're going to have another live stream on Thursday that we're going to go through 23 business English terms. So, Nicole, if you want to get to know some of those that Bruce and you were mentioning, just put in your calendar right there. The same time at 7, we're going to have another amazing tutor here with us. Bruce, would you like to...
Or register for a class with me. We'll go over.
Yes, or book another class with Bruce for sure. Would you like to say anything else about this resume, or should we go?
I think overall, based on her work experience, she doesn't have a lot of work experience, so I think it's very good for a CV for someone with very little work experience. So, the key is watch your spelling, use proper grammar in your wording and defining what you have done in your jobs or your degree. Make sure that you, for your education, you show that you not graduated, but you received a degree in a certain area. So those are very important. Yes.
Bruce, thank you so much. And as a professional in HR and recruiting people, do you have 3, maybe 1 or 3 tips to give us, like golden for people who are here watching this live and want to get the best opportunity this year in their careers?
Yes. Well, I mean, most people are looking to work for international companies. And even if you're not looking to work for a true international company, but even a local company, they're looking for people who have good English skills. So first, be prepared. Know what your qualifications are, what type of position you're looking for, and be prepared. Make sure that your skills and your experience line up with the type of position, the type of candidate that they're looking for. It doesn't have to match 100%. And I get this a lot. People say, "Oh, I don't have 100% of what they're looking for." That's not a problem. Do you have 50%? Do you have 60%? That's fine. Apply for it. You never know. But be prepared. So work on your English skills. Be prepared for the interview. Go through some sample questions ahead of time. There are a lot of good resources on the internet with the top interview questions that companies may ask you, and be prepared. Don't write a script and memorize your answers, but know the questions and think about how you would like to answer the question and be prepared.
Practice, right? Practice with a native tutor, right? I think it's the best way.
Yes. I practice. I work with a lot of students. They want to go through sample questions before their interview. Some the day before, some at least a month in advance. So,
wow. The more the better.
Practicing at a time is better. So.
And before we wrap it up, Bruce, we have another question here from Leandro, and he's saying, if I forget a word, something, or am not able to express myself well in a job interview, is it okay to ask to start over?
Sure. Even native English speakers forget what they want to say in an interview, and it's perfectly fine. You just say, I don't think I answered that correctly. Let me start again and start over and answer the question. So it's fine.
That's nice. Good. That's kind of relax us all, right?
Yes, exactly.
Então, pessoal, vocês têm mais alguma perguntinha aqui? Camila, amazing tips. Thank you. Cesar, what kind of question most candidates has difficulty and how to prepare yourself to it? Valeu, Cesar.
most difficult questions they have usually are like situational questions because they think they have to have an answer to a question. And sometimes you don't. You don't have an answer to a question, and that's not a bad thing. You just don't. You haven't come across that situation in your career, in your job, in the work that you're doing. Maybe you haven't had that situation, and you can say, you know, I haven't experienced that situation before, but the way I would probably approach it would be this way. So it's a way to get around not having experienced something, but also answering the question in a way to show your thinking style or how your problem solving skills. So
That's a great tip, Bruce. César, muito obrigada pela pergunta. Estamos chegando no fim da nossa live, mas você ainda tem muita coisa para aproveitar. We have another question, Bruce. Rogério,
okay.
thank you so much for this opportunity to know a bit more about Cambly. We are welcome, Rogério. And Falcamp, perfect. Lots of people here very cheerful about having you here. And Bruce, when they're on Cambly, if they're already applied on Cambly or now are new students, how they can find you to have a class just like this one with you?
Well, you can search through once you enroll and subscribe to Cambly from the student page. You can actually search for tutors based on keywords, business English, or you can, if you know my name, you can type in my name and I will appear as you will see my profile. And if I'm online, you'll see a little green dot that says available. So you could immediately have a class with me if I'm available, or you can make a reservation on a tutor schedule to reserve a specific time when they would be available and when you would be available.
That's perfect. I love Cambly, right? It's so easy to get in touch with native tutors.
It's very simple. Yes.
Oh, Jefferson, it's now saying my first class on Cambly was with you. Thank you so much. We have another Bruce student here, very famous tutor. That's amazing. Thank you, Jefferson, for saying hi, come to say hi. And Bruce, thank you so much. I think it was an amazing experience here for our audience to have you sharing your knowledge. So thank you.
It was my pleasure, and I'm happy to share a little bit about my experience and teaching on Cambly. And I teach, like I said, I've been teaching on Cambly for 4 years. You know, I'm a business owner. I do it in my free time, and I enjoy it. I love helping the students. There's some amazing students on Cambly, and they're on Cambly because they want to learn. They want to get better. They need help in their careers or their education, and I'm happy to help them. So
that's so sweet of you, Bruce, and thank you so much for being in this live with us. And I probably gonna. Yes, sorry. I was just saying that we're probably going to see each other more and more now that I'm very eager to learn more about business English myself. So thank you so much.
Anytime.
Thank you. Então é isso, pessoal. Eu espero que vocês tenham curtido essa live aqui com o Bruce. Procurem ele aqui, ó, na tela dele aparece Bruce S para vocês pesquisarem na tela, lá quando vocês se inscreverem com 50% off nos nossos planos anuais. E essa super oportunidade, gente, que está quase no fim. Então, aproveitem agora usando esse código Live 2023. Tá com o link aí na descrição para você poder se inscrever muito rápido e fácil e aproveitar essa super promoção, esse super desconto para você já começar janeiro, tirando seus planos do papel, botando tudo em prática e conquistando as melhores vagas internacionais, no Brasil, fora do Brasil, e poder decolar na sua carreira com inglês. Como vocês puderam ver aqui, uma aula no Cambly vale por muita coisa, né? Não é só aprender inglês, você rever o seu currículo, você poder fazer cursos e aulas específicas para o que você precisa. Vale lembrar, isso aqui foi uma palhinha do que você pode ter nas aulas privadas do Cambly, tá? Nos nossos planos de aulas particulares, mas não fica por aí. A gente também tem aulas em grupo, que você pode se inscrever para os planos de aula em grupo, onde você também pode se especializar em carreira ou qualquer assunto que te interesse. Procura, nos segue nas redes sociais, lá tem sempre muita informação e detalhes de como você tirar o melhor proveito da melhor plataforma de ensino de inglês online. Espero que vocês estejam gostados. Envie essa live para os seus amigos que vocês sabem que vão precisar, que vão curtir. E deixe seu comentário também. Valeu? Até a próxima. Espero vocês aqui quinta-feira, às 7 horas, novamente, para aprendermos um montão de vocabulário de Business English com outro tutor maravilhoso. Até lá, happy learning e bora começar a estudar inglês com 50% off. Bye!